First order of business, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if either of you are going to give testimony, if you'll stay standing and raise your right hand, I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give us, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? For the respondents in the room, my name is Drew Smith. I'm the Code Enforcement Magistrate for the City of St. Cloud. My role is to be an independent trier of fact. I'm not an employee of the city. I am a lawyer practicing local government law. I've been practicing it for a little over 21 years now. The order of the proceedings, the code enforcement officers will present first. They'll present the evidence and testimony that they want me to receive. When they're done, respondents will have an opportunity to ask questions if you have questions of them. If you have no questions, then we can go straight into your testimony. You can present me anything you'd like me to see, tell me anything you'd like me to hear. When I've heard and collected all of the evidence, then I'll enter a verbal ruling today that will be followed in the mail by a written order that you will receive. And with that, clerk, you may call our first case.
Case number 2023-180, the Kruger family RLT owner, Richard L. Kruger, COTR owner, Ann M. Kruger, COTR owner, location of violation 500 Tennessee Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
No, I'm working on trying to get where it's not in my way, but they can hear me.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 500 Tennessee Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail to the property owner and to the tenant, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail to the property owner, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail to the property owner, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the property owner, posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $283.70, and they are not here.
Thank you.
On February 3rd, during routine patrol, I observed a fence at this location in disrepair, high grass and weeds, and the property in an unsanitary condition. On February 6th, while doing research to write up this case, I was able to verify that there was not a landlord license on record for this property. I sent out a courtesy notice by regular mail to the owner of record and the tenant, and I took 6 photos. On February 27th, a reinspection was completed and the violations were not cured. On February 28th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail to the property owner. On March 15th, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not cured. On March 16th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail to the owner of record and 5 photos were taken. On April 13th, a reinspection was completed and the violations were not cured. 6 photos were taken. On April 14th, I sent an email to the property owner asking for an update on the landlord business tax receipt and the condition of the property. On May 8th, the reinspection was completed and I was able to verify that the violations were not corrected. 5 photos were taken. On May 15th, I was able to verify that the landlord business tax receipt was paid for, so that violation was cured. I also spoke with the tenant who advised that he was working on getting the rear yard mowed and the fallen tree debris cleaned up. The fence was not addressed at that time. On June 8th, the re-inspection was completed, and I was able to verify that the accumulation was removed, curing that violation. However, the fence and high grass were not addressed. On July 24th, I met with the tenant on site and discussed the violations. I was able to verify that the property was mowed and cleaned up, curing that violation. However, the fence was not addressed. 4 photos were taken. On September 28th, a re-inspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. I added high grass and weeds back to the case because the rear yard was very high. 12 photos were taken. On October 26th, a re-inspection was performed by Officer Neal on my behalf. The violations were not corrected. 7 photos were taken. On October 30th, a re-inspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 8 additional photos were taken. On November 1st, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and 1 photo was taken. On November 13th, a re-inspection was performed, and I was able to verify that the fence on the front right-hand side of the property was being removed. However, the fence around the rear property was still in disrepair, and the grass and the weeds in the rear yard were high. 7 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation the respondent be found in violation of allowing allowing a fence to remain in disrepair and high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until November 30th to correct the fence violation. I believe he's going to remove the fence at this time. He doesn't want to replace it, so I had in
a
here.
demolition permit for that? Do they need a demolition permit for that? They can
No,
just take it down.
no, he just needs to remove it. Or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $283.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Is there a respondent present on the case?
No.
And length of time, the condition of the severe condition of the fence and the severe overgrowth in the backyard, the reason for asking for $250 a day?
Correct.
Okay. Based on the evidence testimony provided, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent is in violation for having high grass and weeds and a fence in significant disrepair. We'll order the respondent to correct the violations on or before November 30th, 2023. If not brought in compliance by that date, a fine in the amount of $250 per day will run until compliance is met. We'll also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $283.70, which amount will be due within 7 days of the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1217, IH4 Property Florida LP owner, location of violation 3346 Countryside View, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 3346 Countryside View Drive. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail to the property owner and registered agent. Copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail to the property owner and registered agent. Copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail to the property owner and the registered agent. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the property owner and registered agent posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $249.10, and they are not here. On June 21st, after receiving a complaint in reference to vehicles blocking the sidewalk at this location, an inspection was completed. I was able to make contact with the tenant and advise that the sidewalk needs to remain clear of obstructions. On June 23rd, while doing the research to write up this case, I was able to verify that there was not a landlord business tax receipt on file for the property. Courtesy notice was sent out by regular mail to the owner of record and the registered agent. On July 11th, a re-inspection was performed, and I was able to verify that the right-of-way violation was cured. However, there was not a landlord business tax receipt on record. On July 12th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail to the owner of record and the registered agent. On July 20th, I received an email from Invitation Homes stating that the violation was corrected and now in compliance. However, it was not in compliance. On July 24th, I replied to the email advising that I did not show a landlord business tax receipt for this location, and I did not receive a response back to that email. On August 2nd, I was able to verify that there was not a landlord business tax receipt for the location. I emailed them for a status update and did not receive a response. On August 21st, I was able to verify that there was not a landlord business tax receipt for the location. On August 22nd, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail to the owner of record and the registered agent. On September 5th and on October 26th, I was able to verify that there was still not a landlord business tax receipt on record. On October 30th, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took one photo. On November 13th, I was able to verify that there was still not a landlord business tax receipt on record for the property. And then I was also able to verify this morning that there was still not a business tax receipt.
Have you had any more communication from the respondent?
No. Nope. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing a business tax receipt to not be obtained for this property and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend the respondent be given until November 30th of 2023 to obtain the proper license, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $249.10 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
This is an annual license, right? They have to renew every year.
Yes.
And when are the renewals? What is it? Is it depending on how do the renewals work? Are they about to come due for next year, for next year's?
They were due by September 30th for
So we're already
next,
into
yes,
second year.
Yes,
Okay.
and they don't have one at all. They've just not got one.
And is that your aggravating factor to ask for the 250 on this
Yes.
length of time, and that we're
Yes.
moving into a new license period? Okay. Based on the evidence testimony presented, I will find in favor of the city, find that the respondent is in violation for not obtaining the appropriate licenses for the rental of the property. Order the respondent to cure the violation by November 30th, 2023. If not brought into compliance by that date, a fine in the amount of $250 per day will run until compliance is met. Also will order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $249.10, which amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1235, James E. Boyd, owner, location of violation, 701 Vermont Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 701 Vermont Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the notice, courtesy notice sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $303.80, and he is here. On June 22nd, during routine patrol, I observed high grass and weeds, a boat in the side yard without a current registration tag, and an accumulation of miscellaneous items and debris at this location. 4 photos were taken. On June 23rd, I sent out a courtesy notice to the owner of record. On July 7th, a re-inspection was performed. I was able to verify that the boat was moved to the rear yard behind the fence, but I had not received proof of registration. Also, high grass and weeds and accumulation were not addressed. 5 photos were taken. On July 10th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail to the owner of record. On July 19th, a re-inspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 3 photos were taken. On July 20th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail to the owner of record. On August 4th, a re-inspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 7 photos were taken. On August 11th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 7 photos. On August 25th, a re-inspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. I was also able to verify that there was an abandoned truck and cargo trailer in the rear yard of this location. I added both of those violations to the case. 9 photos were taken. On August 29th, I sent out an updated notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 3 photos. On September 19th, a re-inspection was performed, and I was able to verify that there was some progress made on the accumulation in the front. However, the other violations were not corrected. 7 photos were taken. On October 30th, a reinspection was performed, and I was able to verify that the violations were not corrected. 9 photos were taken. On October 31st, I sent out a statement of violation, notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 1 photo. On November 13th, a reinspection was performed, and I observed progress made in the rear yard. The abandoned vehicles were removed. The grass was mowed. There are still some areas of high weeds and some accumulation in the rear yard that need to be addressed. 8 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing an accumulation of miscellaneous items and debris, high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches in an abandoned vehicle at this location and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until November 30th, 2023 to obtain, 2023 to correct the violations or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $303.80 to be paid within 7 days of the magistrate's written order. That concludes my presentation.
A couple of questions, just to make sure the only violations that are left is a little bit of high grass and a little bit of debris, correct?
Correct.
Everything
Everything else has been corrected.
Okay. And that's all the questions I have for now. Mr. Boyd?
How you doing?
What would you like to tell me?
Well, hey, it's been a tough year. A lot of the accumulation of boats, truck. Going to work on it. Something else happened. The shed's burned down. That's why the big hole was in the fence. And the grass is from all the stuff when we cleaned the sheds
Mr.
up.
Boyd,
It was
even though we
spread
already
out.
know it is, the clerk has asked me to get you to state your name for
So-
the record, please.
Oh, James E. Boyd.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to
So,
interrupt you.
I am working on it. It's just me and my daughter.
Can you get it done by November 30th?
December, yeah, November's gonna be rough. Because I'm working nights, the trailer's at work. I only got 4 hours a day to work on it.
If I give you until December 30th to get it done, will you keep working on it piece by piece until you get it done and hopefully well before December 30th?
Yep.
I'll give you that time.
Okay, thanks, sir.
The other thing that that the city has asked for the administrative costs of prosecution to be paid. I see no reason not to award those, but they typically, I will, as you've heard in the other cases, I'll give a respondent 7 days unless there's a reason. And I know we're coming in the holidays. I know you're working hard. You've made a lot of progress already. So I am open-minded if you would like more time to pay that $303.80.
No, just 7 days.
7 days,
fine.
okay?
That's fine.
All right, that's what I'll do. I am going to reduce the amount from daily fines from 250 to 100, though, if he does miss that December 30th deadline, because he's made significant progress. If it were in the condition that it was a few weeks ago, I probably would have ordered that $250 a day if you don't come into compliance by the date I order you to. But you've been working hard on it, and I want to recognize that. So, should you miss that December 30th date, and I'm not giving you a reason to, but the fine would be $100 per day, not $250 per day. So it could be worse.
Yeah, okay,
All right.
Good, thank you.
That's all I need, sir. Thank you. And that is my order I'm finding in favor of the city, ordering that those 2 violations remain. All 3 violations occurred. Those 2 violations remain and will be corrected by December 30th. If not, a fine of $100 per day will run. So order the respondent to pay the administrative costs in the amount of $303.80. That amount is due within 7 days of the date of my written order.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
it.
Yes, sir, you are excused. You're welcome to stay, but you do not have to.
Got to go to work.
Case number 2023-1242, 3845 Marietta Way, Family Trust, Barhakov Mila, COTR, Barhakov Andre, COT, Barhakov Vital, COTR, owner, location violation 3845 Marietta Way, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon. Alex Miller, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, posted at the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted at the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, copy of the code sections in violation, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in an amount of $328.70. The respondent is not here. On June 26, 2023, code enforcement received a complaint about the high grass, weeds, and the lack of maintenance to the pool and the screen enclosure. Upon arrival, I observed the high grass and weeds, and the complainant allowed me to to observe the violations in the rear of the property. The swimming pool water was black, and the screen enclosure door was left open and was missing some inserts in the bottom of the enclosure. I called the property owner and advised him of the violations, and I requested that he secures the pool as per is considered a safety violation, and I will allow additional time to correct the rest of the violations, and 5 pictures were taken.
This one, it's always panels, it's hard to see. That center one is missing, right?
If you
Right
look
in the
up
middle,
through
is that a
to the, on top of the enclosure, there are several inserts that are missing.
So are there any along the perimeter that are missing?
Yes, there was one on the bottom, but you can't see it right now, but you'll see it in a minute.
When you get to that one, just point it out, and make
Yes,
sure
sir.
I see which one is missing on the perimeter, because those, the ones where a kid could get through it are the ones
Yes.
I'm most concerned about.
So yeah, the door was left open like that, and I'll show you what the screen is talking about. On June 30th, a reinspection was performed and verified that the violations were not corrected, and 4 photos were taken. So you see, I have another one over here. Right there is what it was open.
Yep, okay.
Okay. On July 3rd, after receiving a call from the owner, I verified that the swimming pool was secure and more time was provided for the other violations to be corrected. On July 10, I verified that the grass was mowed, and the owner stated that he's waiting for the insurance company to fix the enclosure and has hired a person to maintain the pool water and requested additional time to come into compliance. On August 14, I verified that the pool water and the pool enclosure were still in violation, and 2 photos were taken. On August 7th, a notice of violation was sent by certified mail to the owners, posted at the property in City Hall, an affidavit of posting was created, and 1 photo was taken. On August 31st, a reinspection was performed and verified that the pool water was looking better, but still was not in compliance, and the screen enclosure was not fixed, and the property was still in violation. 3 pictures were taken. On September 8, a reinspection was performed, and the property was not in compliance, and 3 photos were taken. On October 4th, another reinspection was performed and verified that the property was not in compliance, and 1 photo was taken. On October 19, a reinspection was performed and verified that the property was not in compliance. I tried reaching out to the owner, but he does not return my calls, or I haven't had any contact with him after that. 2 photos were taken. October 20th, a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owners and agent, posted the property in City Hall. An affidavit of posting was created, and 1 photo of the posting was taken. On November 9th, I verified that the property is still in violation. While at the property, the loan person advised that he has sent a picture of the posting to the owner, but he has not received a reply either. 2 photos were taken.
So is the person, residing, is it a tenant that's residing
No,
there?
the property is empty right now.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing a pool screen enclosure to have missing inserts and the pool water not being properly maintained in a clean and sanitary condition and not correcting the violation by the time specified. The city will recommend that the respondent be given until November 30th, 2023 to correct the violations, or a fine in the amount of $250 be assessed until compliance is met. The city will also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $328.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And this concludes my presentation.
The pool is secure now, correct?
Yes.
So the only panels that are missing are the ones that are up high.
Yeah, but there's some that they're loose, they're becoming loose, and that's what I asked them is to fix
Is
the
that
enclosure.
coming loose? Are there any around the perimeter that are coming loose? Or everything,
There's some on the side, but kind of towards the top.
I saw those,
But
but
most
nothing
of the
ground
no.
level where,
No, sir.
the reason I'm asking, I just think with Thanksgiving coming up next week, I think November 30th is a little short to get a contractor out there because this isn't something he can do himself. And so, and give him time to get a contractor out there, I'm going to give until December 15th, which
Yes,
is
sir.
30 days. But the rest of the order, I am going to find in favor of the city, find the respondent is in violation for the missing pool screens and also for the condition of the pool. Order the violation to be corrected by December 15th. If not brought into compliance by that date, will impose or accrue a fine of $250 per day. I do find that the condition is significant, therefore it justifies $250 per day. If not brought into compliance by the time I allow, and also will order the respondent to pay the costs incurred by the city in the amount of $328.70. That amount will be due within 7 days. Due to my written order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1270, Constance Sloan, owner, location of violation, 1715 West Acres Drive, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 1715 West Acres Drive. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the updated notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the updated notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of an updated notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $236.80, and they are not here. On June 27th, during routine patrol, I observed high grass and weeds at this location. While doing research to write up this case, I was able to verify that there was an expired permit for the fence that was already installed. The permit expired in February of '22. One photo was taken. On June 28th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail to the property owner. I also sent an additional note at that time and an email reminding the property owner that they also had a pool permit that was going to expire on August 16th and that they needed to get that finalized. On July 17th, a reinspection was performed and I was able to verify that the property was mowed, curing that violation. However, the fence permit was still in expired status. On July 31st, I was able to verify that the fence permit was still in expired status. I sent out an updated notice of violation by certified mail to the owner of record for the expired fence permit. On August 18th, I was able to verify that the fence permit was in expired status, and now the pool permit was also expired. So that was added to the case at that time. I sent out a notice of violation to the property owner by regular mail. And then just a little history on that pool permit. That pool permit was pulled for a case that was presented to you previously, presented back in February of '23. She was found guilty for installing the pool without a permit, and then it has now gone expired. On September 11th, I was able to verify that both permits were in expired status. On September 12th, I sent out a notice of violation to the property owner by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, and did an affidavit of posting, and one photo was taken. On October 30th, I was able to verify that both permits were still in expired status. I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing to the property owner by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took one photo. On November 13th, I was able to verify that there was not a submitted extension for either of the expired permits, and this morning I also verified that there has not been an extension submitted for either one. It is the city's recommendation the respondent be found in violation of allowing two permits to remain in expired status with the work already being completed and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend the respondent be given until November 30th of 2023 to bring both permits into active status, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $236.80 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Is the house resided in
Yes.
by the respondent? I know the respondent, I know that's the tax address. Is it the respondent, in fact, that lives there?
Yes.
And just radio silence.
Yes.
What steps, what would be required of the respondent to get that permit into active, or get those permits into active status?
She would just need to do an extension request and submit it to the building department for both permits. The building official would look at it and review it, and if he approves it, there's usually a $75 per permit reactivation fee for the extension, and then she would just need to call in for her finals.
Reasonable to, given again that next week is Thanksgiving, is November 30th, you think a reasonable amount of time for her to get that done and for the city to do its end of things?
I feel it is. The building official usually reviews those the same day.
Okay, then based on the evidence testimony presented, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent is in violation for allowing two permits to remain in expired status with the work already performed but not finalized out. Order the respondent to cure those violations by getting those permits back into active status by November 30th, 2023. Because there are two now in expired status, I will award or enter the city's requested order of $250 per day if those permits are not brought into active status by the time I'm allowing. And I will also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $236.80. That amount will be due within 7 days of the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1435, Justin R. Owens, owner, Ashley Owens, owner, location of violation 1525 Cypress Woods Circle, St. Cloud, Florida.
Thank you. Good afternoon. April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 1525 Cypress Woods Circle. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $254.70, and she is here. On July 26, after receiving a complaint, I was able to verify that there were several violations, including high grass and weeds, a swimming pool, screen enclosure in disrepair, accumulation, and the property being kept in an unsanitary condition. 5 photos were taken.
What am I looking at in this missing panel?
This-
That one I can see, the next one, the screen enclosure, missing panels, is that what I'm seeing?
Correct.
Go back one. What is it you want me to see in this photo?
The accumulation in the front of in the driveway. There's some closer up photos. There's what appears.
Not the planters.
No.
Okay.
What
to
appears
the
to
right
be
of
like-
the planters in front of the vehicle, I can see some stuff. Is that what you want me to see?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. On July 27th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail to the owner of record. On August 11th, a reinspection was performed by Supervisor Howes. During the inspection, she was able to make contact with the property owner. She advised of the violations and allowed an additional 2 weeks for the violations to be cured. 15 photos were taken.
Go back one. What am I looking at in this photo?
Just the high grass. It's
Okay.
a little,
So there in the kind of the foreground of the photo, is it over 8 inches?
correct.
Okay.
On August 25th, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 5 photos were taken. On August 28th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail. On August 31st, the certified mail was delivered and signed for. On October 2nd, a reinspection was performed by Supervisor Howes, and she was able to verify that the violations were not cured. 9 photos were taken. On November 2nd, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall. 10 photos were taken.
What's the arrow pointing to?
That's for this next part. The rear yard was mowed, but I couldn't tell what that was, but the grass growing up between it is very high. On November 13th, a reinspection was performed, and I was able to verify that the rear yard appeared to be mowed. However, there were some areas of high grass and weeds. The accumulation was not removed from the front of the property, and the property was not being kept in a sanitary condition, and the accessory structure was still in disrepair. 8 photos were taken.
Before we get to, can you go back 2 photos? In this photo, just this one, what is it that needs to be corrected?
It's not so much the planters, there's just in the behind there, the weed area, and then around it. And then that's it really in that photo.
Okay.
It is the city's recommendation the respondent be found in violation of allowing the property to remain in an unsanitary condition, an accumulation of miscellaneous items and debris, high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches, and an accessory structure to remain in disrepair and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend the respondent be given until November 30th to obtain, to get the violations cured, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $266.70 to be paid within 7 days of the magistrate's written order. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay. Respondent?
Hi, I'm Ashley Owens. So we never got any certified letters. The signatures here aren't ours. We got the initial letter that wasn't certified, and I called about that, and someone had come to the house and left a card, and I called that as well. I spoke to the supervisor on the phone. She said to focus on like the health issues, so like the weeds.
When is this phone call?
I'm sorry?
When was this phone call?
After the first letter. And
Back
she came.
June-ish?
No, August maybe.
Okay.
It was like right when it was really hot. It was like we were having heat advisories every day. So I told her we would work on it in the evenings when we could, when it wasn't really hot. And she said that not to worry about the screen enclosure because of the fence, but that we needed to work on the weeds and the like health issues. And I was like, okay. So then they stopped by after that, probably 2 weeks later, maybe, April and the supervisor both, and we spoke to them then. And they said things were looking better and we were still working on it, but that they would send a certified letter giving us a date to have it done by. We never got a certified letter. I didn't get anything until I got a sign in my front yard, which I have the paper here, and it said that I was supposed to have stuff done by October 2nd, but I never knew about it. So
Did it get done by October 2nd?
no, because I never got the certified letter, so I
Is it
thought
done
everything
now?
was okay. I'm sorry?
Is it done now?
We've cleaned up the backyard. We don't have the screen panels replaced because we can't do that. We have to find someone to do it. And then the tanks that are by the trash cans, every week I was gonna put one out, but our trash can's been full the last few weeks, so I haven't been able to put it out. But, I mean, we can take it to the dump. I was just trying to put it with our regular trash when we could, but otherwise, the yard's been done. The screen enclosure has not, but.
So as we were going through the photographs, and I was asking, sounds like there's still a couple of spots of high grass and weeds that can,
The high grass in the back is a fence enclosure for my kid's tortoise. So there's a tortoise that lives in this, it's like a wood and,
can you get that grass cut down below the fence line, so if somebody's standing on the street,
yeah,
they're
I mean,
not
I can
seeing
go
high
in and
grass
clean out
back
his
there?
enclosure, but we usually just let it go because he eats whatever.
And then around the planters, there was the area that you heard me ask the code
There's a
enforcement.
bush behind there's a bush behind the planters, and we can trim that back, but that's what's sticking up above the planters.
Mainly weeds down around the ground level, just make sure those are taken
Yeah.
care of too, because I can see where you've made a lot of progress there.
But yeah, my big concern is like, we never got a certified letter, either one of these, neither one is our signature. We work remote, no one came to our door, there was no paper left on the door. No one's tried to make contact with us since they came out that time and we spoke to them.
Well, it looks like, I see the evidence where they sent it. I can't speak for the post office, but what I can tell from your testimony is you were aware of the violations.
Initially, yes.
You were aware of the violations. Initially, they didn't go away.
Correct. But then when
get these done first doesn't mean ignore those forever.
Right, but when they came out and spoke to us, they said they would send us an additional letter with the
That you
date
did
and the-
eventually get, even if it had a compliance date of October 2nd, and even if you were beyond October 2nd, we're now November 15th.
Right, so we just got this, like, it was in our yard like a week and a half ago maybe, and we've worked on the backyard since then. As soon as we got it, we started working on it. The only thing that's not done is
You see where I'm going, though.
the backyard we've done the backyard, we didn't do in the tortoise
You were
enclosure.
aware, I know, but you were aware there are violations that need to be taken care of.
Correct, and we had corrected we mowed the backyard and
But
trimmed the weeds.
you know that the screen is missing panels.
And right.
You know there's junk and debris out there.
But I was told that the screen enclosure, that she would do a waiver on that and I wouldn't have to.
5 months ago, you were told that.
No, sir.
So you just believed
It
that
was
you
in
could keep it
August.
that way forever?
Yeah, we have a privacy fence.
You believe you could keep it that way forever?
I thought that the pool enclosure was to prevent someone from getting in the pool. So since we have a privacy fence, like it didn't matter. And she said not to worry about the pool enclosure, to worry on the yard.
I don't doubt that there may have been some things that could have been communicated better. I think you know better.
Okay. I can hire someone to fix the pool enclosure,
gonna
but
have
that was
to.
not my priority. My priority was the yard
Understood.
as instructed.
Understood. But it can't stay that way forever, and I think you know that.
Yep, I understand that. It's just I was following the instructions I was given the last time I spoke to the supervisor.
Did they tell you don't do it?
She said that it would be, that she could get a waiver on it and to worry about the yard. That's why,
How much time do you need?
I mean, the yard's done, except for the
The
fish
little
tanks.
spots, yeah.
The pool enclosure is however long it'll take me to get someone to do it. I mean, with the
Any,
holidays, I'm concerned, like you said,
Yeah.
so
any financial constraints I need to be aware of as far as getting work done?
I don't know how much it's gonna cost to fix it, but
It's just panels missing, right?
yeah, I
Few
mean,
$100s.
we've done the side panels ourselves before, but we've never done the top ones.
What are you showing me?
April said 250, 470. She says 266.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said to me?
I said I've done one of the side ones before by myself, but I'm not comfortable doing
No,
the
you have
top.
no business up there on that. No, it'll be a few $100s, but it probably won't be more than 1,000, just from my own past experience,
Okay,
of my own. Does that create a financial hardship for you that I
it's
need to be
not
aware of?
great, but we'll figure
Especially
it
on the
out.
holidays. How much time do you need to manage that, to manage the holidays? The pool's secure, right?
Yeah, we have a 6-foot privacy fence.
Okay. How many panels are missing?
I don't know. I
'Cause
honestly
that's-
didn't count them. Probably 6 or 7 on the top, because they're small, like little ones. The
That's gonna
sides
be
are all
the-
one piece.
The number of panels is what's gonna impact your price. Let me push the screen enclosure down the road a little bit. And the junk and debris, when can that be? You said you
I
can
mean,
take.
I can take it to the dump this weekend. I was just trying to put it out with my regular trash.
How does January 30th? What day of the week is the 30th? Is it just making sure it's not a Saturday or
January?
Sunday? Yeah, January 30th.
It's a Tuesday.
All right. So how does January 30th sound for the screen enclosure?
If we can't find like a certified, like
You'll
an
find somebody
insured
by
person
then.
by then.
You'll find somebody
Okay.
by then. What I'm really doing, you could have somebody out there by mid-December. I'm fairly certain this time of year. But what I'm really doing, January 30th, is get you out of the holidays, to get you through the holidays before you have to foot that bill. You can do it, and the sooner you do it, I'm sure code enforcement will be thrilled. But I'm willing to give you that time to get you through the holidays. If you will promise me that that junk and debris is cleaned up
Yeah,
by
I can do
November 30th.
that this weekend.
Sorry, it's a Thursday. I was looking at the
As
wrong
long as
year.
it's a weekday, that's all that mattered to me. Okay, so anything else you want me to hear before I roll? The 266.70, I'm going to set that as the same January 30th date. I'm going to get her through the holidays before she has to pay that, unless there's an objection. I'm not seeing any. Okay, so anything else you want me to hear?
No.
Okay. So what you've heard me kind of starting to allude to is my order today. I do find the property respondents are in violation for allowing the property to remain in unsanitary condition. That's referring to the junk and debris. The high grass and weeds, which has been mostly cured, just a little bit of cleanup, get that done. That and the junk and debris by November 30th. Get the screen enclosure completed by January 30th. If those are not brought into compliance by the dates that I've allowed, then a fine of $250 per day will run until compliance is met. I will also order the respondent to pay the costs incurred in the amount of $254.70. What's the affidavit say?
I don't know.
266.70, you had it right. 266.70, that amount will also be due on January 30th.
Okay.
Okay?
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, none. New business, none. Next scheduled meeting, January 17, 2024.
Anything else from the city? Clerk? Nothing else? Police? Nothing? Then we are adjourned.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you. So as I was